to act. Like we were talking yesterday, and I made a statement that when it comes to child abuse and the leverage is overgiven to civil societies, when we have women's empowerment and the family as a ministry who can cater for that. Most often they are NGOs who take the bulk of the work. They may not take the bulk of the credit, but they take the bulk of the work. Well, that aside, let me come back. If you see the Pope targeting the state and non-governmental organizations, he is doing that out of experience. When we look very well, non-governmental organizations are very influential. OAU, UNO, because most nations come under these canopies to take decisions on human rights and dignity before they go back and propagate it in their nations. So the Pope has that ability and agility to reinforce that fact. And if we go further with that speech, we will also may notice that he targets the young people, encourages education, responsibility, and ethical leadership, because he's not just a leader, he's a pontiff. So he must stand from that point of politics and then divert to the ethical part of it, because the ethical part is also important for a nation to reduce crime wave. When you say preachers or church leaders are shying away, I may not concretely ascertain the level to which they are doing that. It may be deposits of truth or just points of departure. Why do I say so? Every leader stands on a Sunday and preaches in his or her own pulpit. I do that in my own and may not know what is happening in the other person's own. But reconcile that I said, because of the Pope's coming, not only other church leaders will be there, but also traditional leaders will be there, because he is coming under that canopy of a Pope, because he's one of the most prominent figures in the world. And since Cameroon has a significant Catholic population, the Pope's visit certainly will energize not only the faithfuls, even the non-faithfuls will come to see. It's just like when Jesus was entering into Jerusalem triumphantly. Not everybody came to hear him and shout Hosanna.
Okay.
Some came with different motives.
Concretely, what would people be expecting to hear from the Pope tomorrow in, let's say, the people of the Southwest and Northwest regions?
Thank you, Mr. Leo. I could just ascertain, because like I said before, people are expecting him to preach a message of peace and hope, especially peace, because of all the atrocities that have been happening, especially in the Bamenda Ecclesiastical Province, if we are talking about the North and Southwest, which is included. Because of this issue where now you have rape, kidnaps, and what started as a crisis has turned into exploitation. Now, most people are kidnapping people, they are stealing things, they are wrecking homes. You cannot peacefully, easily go back to your home when you have a funeral service. When you have a funeral, you have a settlement to pay and all of that. Some people have not been to their villages for 13 years. People are expecting relief and release from these nefarious tendencies. And so it is our hope that as the Pope is coming, he's going to decry such ghastly acts which he has begun in his speech yesterday by continuous sensitization, his prayers, his speeches to the people. But the thing is that he may say all of what he has to say. I don't know what is in his speech. I'm just ascertaining. If the government doesn't reinforce everything he has said after he goes, and other stakeholders, it will be null and void. It will be like throwing water on a dick's back. Also, what I think that he should be talking about is targeting the youths, the high rate of unemployment, and insisting, because we have a Catholic university, we have other vocational training centers sponsored by the Catholics, Presbyterians, Baptists, and other religious stakeholders. It will be our sincerest cry and prayer that he emphasizes on employment, so that youths must not only think of, say, white-collar jobs, but they must also have income-generating activities that will sustain them, and they will not overly always look left and right. I was very happy with one of the gestures from one of the bishops in Bamenda. They shared helmets to over 2,000 bike riders some time ago and made mass for them.
Okay.
So that kind of gesture, if the Pope is coming, just the fact that the rider said, this same cathedral in Bamenda, I had a helmet there. Even if they did not give me a bike, they gave me a helmet. Now that the Pope is coming, maybe things will be more better. So the hope is that the poverty level and line should be ameliorated, especially in the agricultural sector. And then some obnoxious practices which are culturally degrading to human life, I'm sure he's also going to talk about them. Rape, kidnaps, and so that the Holy Spirit, by God's special grace, can touch listeners, and then now, these situations will change.
In calling for a ceasefire, what can we speculate to be the expectations of separatists from the Pope's outing in Bamenda tomorrow? What could they be speculating to wanting the Pope to address?
Okay, Mr. Leo, before I come to that about the speculation of the separatists, I was just going to say generally the population of Northwest and Southwest are expecting that the Pope will boldly pronounce his own proposal, his own opinion as concerns the crisis. If he only preaches the message of peace, love, all of that, spirituality, and then he did today, and then he leaves and go. But me, I think they will now be seen like they will see lost hope, because what they are expecting is for the Pope to be bold enough, because our religious leaders, like you rightly said, no one has stood and spoken real truth to the face of the government and insist, apart from Samuel Cleda that has been bold sometimes, I think during the presidential election, to say the truth, that leadership should change. I think those are one, and then I think the priest of Yagua, I think those are people that made outings during that time. So we held them because sometimes when you look at a situation that you know that this situation is not good enough and the state is promulgating it, be bold to call it out with your spiritual power as a spiritual leader, because spiritual leaders are God's servant and who are authority over the state authorities. So coming back to the expectation, like the separatists talk of ceasefire, the ceasefire is not maybe that there have been so much firing and so on. I think the ceasefire was in terms of we are not going to call for ghost town, we are not going to block roads, we are not going to disturb anybody. People should be feel free, because through the notice that was sent out, when you read through it, you see they say they should go with joy and listen to the message of peace from the Pope that is coming to the region. So you see, that is in their own terms of ceasefire. So if the Pope can be bold enough, maybe to give a way forward, propose a way forward to the government, that this is what you should do as concerns the crisis, and not only preach a general message of peace and love, so that people will go back with calm minds and so on. He should be able to give his own proposal and say, okay, concerning the crisis, since he has this double identity as a religious leader and equally as a head of state, let him not talk as a head of state politically, that, okay, I'm giving my own political solution, political suggestion to your problem in this country. Touch the root cause of the crisis and say, go back and solve this crisis according to this root cause. According to these root causes, because the Pope knows exactly the history of Cameroon, and therefore he knows that if we are having the crisis is existing in the Northwest and Southwest today, it is because of the root causes, because of the states, the form of states, it started from there. Nobody will argue that that is not where this crisis stemmed from, because otherwise we'll just be pretending. So if the Pope if the separatists are expecting something, they're expecting the Pope not to come and declare some independence for them so that they will live and get a state on their own. No, they'll be expecting that he will be bold enough to say, let's address the root cause of this crisis and make the state of Cameroon the way it was, probably memory lane down to the 1961, because we cannot, the only thing that you cannot change, the only thing that you cannot kill with a weapon is history. History will always be history, and history will always be respected. So the moment you start trying to you want to fault history, that is where a problem comes in. And therefore, the problem we're having today in Cameroon is because we have faulted the history of Cameroon. And this is the time, if the Pope is to help us, he's supposed to come and tell us the truth and say,
the Pope should come and address our history?
He should come back.
You expect the Pope to come and tell us about our history? I'm not saying that the Pope should come and address our history.
But he has to propose a solution, because he knows the origin of the crisis. The origin of the crisis stemmed from the form of the state. That's the truth.
Okay,
whether we like it or not, the Pope can propose and say, okay, sit down as brothers and sisters, or maybe go back and try to see how you can bring or propose a form of state.
Yeah, what do you expect the Pope to also tell the separatists? Because you have been hitting hard on the Pope to talk to the government. Yeah.
The message of the Pope to the separatists should be the message of peace, the message of repentance. Because if we don't repent, and then we're expecting something extraordinary, it means that that thing cannot go through, even if it is being planted in our system. So the separatists are supposed to take the message of the Pope seriously, especially when it comes to peace and humanity, because if this is not taken serious, therefore they too on their part are not serious, because the population today are suffering more into their hands than the hands of the military. That we know. That one is very true. Yes, because they have carried out kidnappings, they have carried out tortures, they have carried out all of those human rights abuses on the population. So if they are expecting anything, they also have to renounce their own activities, so that they should be able to equally attract the government attention to say they have yielded to the message of the Pope and they are ready to open up, so that they can sit and we talk about what went wrong and how we can do in order to fix it. Because the collective opinions of everybody is very paramount for us to come back and fix this nation.
Okay, come back. The Pope today in Yaoundé says that peace is not decreed, it is a process, it requires a lot of patience, but he says that it is something that should also be received. Now, what should be the spirit of those who seek peace? What should be their spirit as they wait to get the message of the Pope? Because maybe some government officials may also be wanting the Pope to speak exactly what they want to hear, and the separatists themselves are also waiting to get the Pope endorse their stance. At the end of the day, the population is left in the lurch.
I think we have to get this very clearly from the Pope, that he is a peace builder and he is a peace crusader. He is not there to decree.
He's an ambassador of Christ.
Yes, an ambassador of Christ. And as an ambassador of Christ, he believes the foundation of Christ is unity. And so the Pope stands for unity in the body of Christ. And that unity in the body of Christ simply means that I should not commit bad towards you, you should not commit bad towards this person, but we should mutually discuss to agree. And that is why there should not be no retaliation, because he said you cannot preach peace by simply disarming. It's not just about disarming, but it's also about building the minds of those and also institutions that work. And if you look at his message again today, he said something which I already said. My thought turned in a special ways way to those who suffer in the northwest and the southwest regions. They thirst for justice and the desire for peace, and that rise from these lands must find a concrete and rapid response through dialogue. And which means that the Pope is visit to Bamenda, and like you said, this side is expecting that he will hit hard to say, oh, stop the children from going to school, it's this, oh, calling for lockdown is evil, oh, this or that, you must drop your arms, and that. So there are some, like you say, it's true, there are some people within the circle. Both sides have extremists. I would say this. Both sides are extremists. We have seen it, and time has played on. When they said, some came out and said there was no Anglophone problem. The head of state came out and said there's an Anglophone problem. The head of state will not dialogue anybody. The head of state dialogue anybody. The head of state will never discontinue a case. They came and called for the national dialogue. The head of state will never discontinue a case. Those people run it. The next day the head of state. The head of state. You see, we have been, and vice versa. We also have the other people in the extremist side. So at the end of the day, the Pope is going to play a central role, and the role is simple. If it's white, it's white. If it's black, it's black. This Pope cannot be intimidated, neither by Trump or anybody. And there's one thing about this Pope. He's different from Pope Francis in that Pope Francis believes strictly on spirituality, on prayers. But this Pope also believes on also vocalness. He has been vocal. He's talked about against immigration, even when the might and height are against him. He doesn't blink, because as Christ, he must not be loved by people for saying the truth. And his message for the Separatists, like the Separatists also expect him to come and say that, the government the national dialogue has failed, the government has not been able to do this, the government has not been able to do that, so I call on the government to, no, you cannot call on the government to, you can only solicit on the government too. And also, one of the reasons why I believe that this visit in Bamenda is very timely is that if you look at the Roman Catholic Church from this crisis, you realize that the Roman Catholic Church has paid a great price from the northwest and the southwest region. They've had their priests kidnapped, some have been unalive, they have had their parishioners. Yes, if the whole cardinal was taken, it means that Rome had to know. So priests are taken, and like the auxiliary bishop was taken. So the church has, and like also, don't forget the video of the nuncio in Bamenda also played a significant role, because that video went viral when the nuncio was about to address, as he was acknowledging people, and the nuncio called one particular name, and the people rolled up in rage, and so you see, it tells you that there is a community that need peace. It's a community that need dialogue. It's a community that you need to come back and say, okay, my dear people, let us see how we can come together. And the good thing and the beautiful thing is, the Pope will not be in Bamenda alone. The Pope will be in Bamenda with some of these same government officials who will be there. And the also good thing is that the Pope will not be talking only to the government official alone, because the Separatists will be watching. They will be there. They will be there to listen to what the Pope is saying. That Papa don't talk, Papa for Roma don't talk. And Papa for Roma message today at the Unity Palace is being discussed over social media, and in Bamenda, I expect him to talk more about this crisis in his homily. That is what he will talk about more in his homily, and he's going to index all the two parties. And just know that he's that kind of person that cannot be intimidated. He will index them, because if you listen to this speech, I did not expect that he will be this kind. I just believe that his speech would just be diplomatic, but he hit the nail on his head. It's just the opening speech. And he just, yes. And the real one is in Bamenda. Our eyes are in Bamenda. And if you realize, most of the media that follow Pope Leo actually will do more. The real job is in Bamenda. Some were already in Bamenda before I watched France 24 today. France 24 was reporting in Bamenda, explaining from the perspective of the crisis. I also watched some of this international media. Now, from the media perspective, when I see international media accompanying the Pope, a town that the Pope has not gone, they have started talking about the crisis. It means that there is something they know, a scope. They have a scope of what the Pope is going to discuss about the crisis. But the question we should answer is, after the visit, what next? And this is where I see what next. I see what next in the fact that this is a window of opportunity for the government of Cameroon and the Separatists. You see all that thing that the Swiss, when the Canadian government came out to say let's discuss some of these guys came out and said we will not talk independent nothing. They should not try this thing now. They should not just try it. This is an opportunity that if the government decides okay, let us open our arms. In country we call this the green light moment or the jubilant moment because the nation is jubilating. Just seize the opportunity, release political prisoners, release all those in connection with this crisis, and give them clemency. Then now you announce now a formal dialogue, and the whole nation now will move into jubilation and see whether I want to appoint vice president, they don't care. They will move into jubilation and they will celebrate, and you want to see now the common, because if you move to the street, the common man in Bamenda doesn't care about the form of the state. If you ask any Anglophone who is in Bamenda or not or Southwest, who is in Mafe, who is in any of these villages, who is in Kwakwa na Kebole, ask them what do you need. They will not tell you. Ask them federation. Ask them that federation, decentralization, independent. Which one do you need? They will tell you we need peace.
That's all.
They need the peace first. Le reste là doit revenir. Après politics, we can talk about politics later.
Okay.
Because when they have peace.
Okay. Bamenda, tomorrow, this is what is also opening the usage of the Bamenda airport. It's been closed for some time since the Separatists shot a plane at that airport. Can we also hope that this is a new beginning for the region?
Yes, Mr. Leo, it is a symbolic beginning for Bamenda because not just the projection of peace, but I want to believe that that tarmac will have many more planes. We know Kameko goes to Marwa, to Yaoundé.
They were going to Bamenda.
They were going to Bamenda until this
that
situation.
Incident.
Yes, I just want to believe that apart from projecting peace, unity, national dialogue, this is also an economic empowerment. I want to believe that it will also influence policy, and that will cement and give a leeway for a permanent traveling by air to Bamenda. And this will be a beautiful thing if people can travel. And when we look at that airport, for a long time it has been more of a death trap. They kill people, go and throw there. They have been wreaking a lot of havoc there. So if the Pope's visit goes far beyond religion, then we want to think that that airport will be a veritable force to reckon with. And not just the airport, the roads, general development has really taken place in Bamenda. Street lights all over, things that were long forgotten, they have revamped them. And it's my utmost wish that it should not just be a temporary something, it should be permanent, so that that fear, that phobia of not going to Bamenda will be sustained. And all of this can be long-term if these reforms are concrete and permanent, because it's not going to help only the locals, but it will help everybody. Because now, if that airport is officially opened, traders will go there, craftsmen will go there. When you are traveling like in Douala Airport, craftsmen, they sell their wares. People are there selling, their offices selling tickets and all of that. So it will also give an usher room for employment, because it will now be bustling with people and travelers, and this will give a leeway for more development for Bamenda. And why not? People can just travel directly if there are no transits. It will be a beautiful image, and I pray that the materials that have been used to revamp the airport are so solid such that they will last a long time. And if they have revamped this, I want to think that if peace and unity comes through aviation, someday even our railroads which have gotten stuck, people are even building on them. People are using it to carry their wood. They have formed local equipment to carry wood and roll on them. One day too, it will be revamped. So just like our brother was saying, that sometimes it's not really just about war, ceasefire problems. People just want peace, and peace comes with development. People, you will see that place will blossom. We used to know the airport in those days as where people used to sit along the road to crack these black stones for concrete. But now, if the airport stays, it will also help even local craftsmen, it will help traders. People will be able to sell their wares around there and help their families, and life will go on smoothly.
Okay, and life will go on smoothly. How do we take a full advantage of the visit of the Pope? As he said, Tamai Jarvis, that this is an opportunity not to be wasted by both separatists and government officials. Why not civil society?
Yes, Mr. Leo.
How do we take full advantage of this?
Yes, Mr. Leo. You know, we of the civil society is a very great opportunity that we are having the Pope in Cameroon, because practically all what we echo, the government sees it as in the bad side. They don't see it in the positive side, because they think we should come on maybe to pamper some certain things. But there are things that if the civil society overlook them, it means that they want to help to destroy. So we cannot stand on the side of destruction, or where things are not working, when citizens are suffering, they lack water, basic amenities. Then we come maybe to say life is going well. We must call out these things and say something should be done. So actually, it is an opportunity for us to take advantage, so that we tell the truth to our faces. We are talking to the Pope. Talking in the presence of the Pope is talking to, is already communicating to God directly, because we believe that he is a direct representative of God on earth right now. So whatever thing that we are saying will transcend to heaven. So the opportunity is that we are talking to somebody of very high magnitude, where he is able, he is both political and spiritual at the same time. Therefore means that he understands the status quo of life, and therefore can be able to call out call out both parties and advise them positively with what they should do properly in order to bring lasting peace in the northwest and southwest. And it is also an opportunity because the separatists, for the first time, the separatists have also understood that at one moment, you do not only have to keep doing some certain things or refusing that nothing will happen, or insisting and standing on your own position that you hold on. And equally, the government is also there to understand that if the separatists have had this shift in mindset, it means it is possible that we come together, because after all, we are brothers and sisters. The fact that some have decided to go and live in the bushes and now fight back the state doesn't mean that they have become citizens of other nations. They are still citizens of Cameroon, and therefore it only needs that we should be bold enough to say, okay, enough is enough. Let's come and sit on a round table and talk together, talk to ourselves, and see what we can choose and how we can co-live together. That is what the government has been afraid. I'm sorry to say they have been afraid, because what I'm talking from the last national dialogue that happened, you discover those that were invited were not those that were directly involved. If those that were invited during the major national dialogue were the frontliners of these separatists, you would have discovered that maybe we would have had a lasting peace than what we are having now. But we organize a dialogue and choose those that we can talk to. And finally, in the end, even civil society were not so much involved in the major national dialogue. So this time around, it is an opportunity for us to voice, to equally send out our own message on what we want. And that message should be something that can be acceptable by all of us. It should not be, we should renounce our positions.
Everybody wants their position to be taken And
I say it's an opportunity. We know very well that we cannot have separation. That's the truth, separatists. We cannot. That's the truth. Yes. But we know that something went wrong, and therefore it is the time for us to come back.
Yeah, but
and fix things
there's so many persons,
before.
who are watching from the southwest and northwest regions who say the government knows what we want. That is, you say what you want since 2016 and it is not coming, and the chances are going, but you still hope that the Pope must come and say what you want. Does it really make sense? Do you really want peace if you are not ready to make a compromise?
I think
let him come first, and then
yes, the government knows what they want, and probably they know that the government does not want separation, and they too know that their position is separation, and they understand. When you see when it comes to issue of during presidential election, you would have understood. You would have understood their own logic. The separatists were highly optimistic that government was going to change hands, and there was going to be some kind of maybe a federal state, because this is
what type of federal state?
I've been expecting federal state, and from the northwest and southwest, from the northwest and southwest, we are expecting the former the Federation of Cameroon. We had Cameroon was a federal state before it came to this level. And even if we have to change the form of the state, it should not be something that a few individuals will sit in the parliament and talk about. It should be something that we come back to us as a referendum, and then we vote and say, okay, this time around we want to change, and then we bring something that will be inclusive.
Let's look at the message of Christ, which has to do with patience, long suffering, tolerance, love, forgiveness. That is a message, I'm sure, that respect for human rights that the Pope is going to be preaching tomorrow. But when everybody is camping on their side since 2016 and hoping for a miracle from the Pope, how does this make sense?
I think that this is what has been there since from the time of this crisis till now. And when one of the greatest problem that we have is when you tell yourself a particular lie, you know that you insist on that lie, there becomes stupidity. Because we must shift our grounds, whether we like it or not. The government has shifted the ground to some level. I believe he here will bear with us that, and it also Pastor will bear with us that there was a time where you could not talk about federation on TV. There was a communique to that effect. There was also a time when you could not talk about the word Ambazonia or Southern Cameroon on TV. Blue and white weapon. You could not talk. You could not even talk about this because it was a taboo. You could be arrested. But we have gone past that era, which means there has been a shift of ground to a certain level. So at the end of the day, we should ask also ourselves as Anglophones, how best have we also shifted our grounds if we want peace to return in the restive side? One, our economy is dying because our economy previously was not being funded by the government, but by the activities that were being carried out in our locality. Look at the northwest and the southwest. They were the epicenter of education. We witnessed massive educational tourism, where most parents from the rest of the region want to send their kids either in St. Bede, either in Joseph, either in you have the different schools, the different Baptists, whatever, you have it. But what has happened? Look at December, during December period. Almost all the villages in the northwest region has what is called the cultural week. And it was in the village, where all the sons and daughters who camp in the village, the economy of the village will boom, development will boom. But if you look at the state of development in the respective villages that some of us from the northwest will come from, it has greatly dropped, in fact, dilapidated. Most of the investment that we have done to our different cultural development associations were destroyed as a result of the conflict. We have to start back again. Should we still be talking about where we have been? The truth is God. I always say this is a quote that I started from the university. You can only kill the teller. You cannot kill the truth. If you kill the teller, the truth remains to haunt you. The issue here on the ground is the Pope cannot come and say that, oh, Anglophones, 2 states, 10 states, 5 states, it is left for the people of Cameroon to dialogue. That is why he insists on dialogue. And I believe that in good conscience, the government of Cameroon will take this in good conscience and call for dialogue. Whether we like it or not, there will be a meaningful discussion in this conflict. Because eyes are now on Cameroon. You know, the Pope doesn't just move alone. Eyes are on Cameroon. The Pope is at the epics. I remember all the time that a Pope has come to Cameroon, there have been something meaningful that occurred. All the times that Pope has, and they always come when, most of the time that they have come, whether it's coincidental or not, it has been when we had issues. When we had issues. And that has come with a certain level of leverage. If you look at even the message of the homily of the Pope, the reading of the Pope tomorrow in Bamenda, it is centered on the book of Acts of Apostles. And if you look at that message very well, it's talking about obedience to God and also obedience to God before obedience to men. And what does obedience to God simply mean? Thou shalt not kill. And thou shalt, when it's talking about obedience to God, it talks about the sacredness of the human person. So love your neighbor as yourself. The message, the booklet is out, and his message is going to center on Acts of Apostles. So if you look at the message very well, it tells you what he's going to deliver. And it's going to be a bazooka. Tomorrow, you will see, the internet will take a different space. And it's going to be a kind of nation cup final. Because this is the highest moment. And I believe that if the government of Cameroon really want that we should go back to where we were in peace, this is a moment of what we call forgiveness, love, and reconciliation. And the same thing with the separatists. It's the same type of everybody. The chiefs. This is the moment where if a chief knows that you have wronged your people, go, members of parliament are also in that community. This is the time that you see those members of parliament who have been in Yaoundé since. They'll rush back to their community to rush to Bamenda, and they'll do photo shoot in Bamenda. After the photo shoot, they go back to Yaoundé. And my appeal for Cameroonians in the northwest and southwest region, those in that area should understand that the Pope is not coming to fully tell the government what to do. The Pope is coming to appeal to the consciences of the people, because there's like Minister Paul Atanganji rightly quoted in Pumba, Romans, the book of Romans, that all government are decreed from God. That if a leader is who he is the Lord doing. And that is why I say, unto us a child is born, not unto us. The pastor can best explain that. The nation shall be upon his soldiers. And they say...
You have not asked me any question from the Bible. Mr. Lewis is deliberately asking you.
No, I'm just saying that from what I'm explaining, you can best quote that, because if I'm wrong, you can best direct me. That, you know, if you look at this, which means that the government of Cameroon is a state, and as a state, it has its policies and procedures. And the Pope is simply coming to tell them that, like you asked Pastor a very important question, that the development in Bamenda. The truth is Grace Archbishop Fayun Kenya said that the government has assured him that the Bamenda airport is going to be functional. And it will be very economic unwise for the state to abandon that airport, looking at the investment that they have recently done now at the airport. It will be really unwise, because you cannot spend that amount of money in renovating that airport just for the purpose visit and you don't continue maintenance. It will be unwise. And this is where now we see the government, the government should probably, if you cannot manage it, privatize it, where it can take planes, where people can be transiting, and the economic hub in Bamenda will boom. And if that airport is fully operational, companies can start investing in Bamenda, knowing that they can easily transport their logistics through the cargo plane and land to Bamenda directly.
This person says there is no peace without justice. The Pope has said it severally, that there should be respect for human rights, there should be love, and also justice. Almost everybody is clinging on the notion of justice. I don't know how just we are.
I keep saying that the concept of peace, justice before peace, is a myth. I keep saying this, and what is a myth is something that we think it should be.
We think it can happen,
yes,
yeah, but which
is not is, which in reality it is not. Because if you talk about justice, first, how will you get justice if the people don't forgive each other to come and sit and start thinking about justice? Justice will just appear. The people, you must calm down. And that is why the Pope was talking about peace and justice. He did not say justice and peace. The Pope said peace and justice, which means that everybody has sinned. That's why they say he who goes to equity must go with clean hands. Let anyone in Bamenda, anyone in the Northwest region, come and tell me that they did not participate in one way or another in this conflict. There was one point that I forwarded and received. Everybody was just forwarded as received. At one point in time, you hear people start chanting our voice. Even there are those who are even complaining. At one point in time, chanting our voices. Now, if you say justice, what kind of justice do you want? Resurrection? People have been killed. Will you resurrect them? We need to pipe down ourselves and seek for peace. And what does this peace mean in essence? Peace in essence means reconciliation, forgiveness, that ability to kill down our anger and look at each other and say, you know what? Yes, you have done this. Let's calm down and let's discuss on this. And that is why in every reasonable society, like look at what happened in the Rwanda genocide. The Rwanda genocide did not end with justice before peace. It ended with peace before justice. Yes. And that was a tribunal.
Most tribunals are set up after conflict. Mostly when you go to Sierra Leone, take the case of what's happening between Iran and the US.
Yes.
If there's going to be justice, justice will be after
the dialogue.
After dialogue has taken place, they have down there. How do you judge people when bullets
are flying?
Yes. Now, Reverend, are you with us?
I am.
Okay. Tomorrow, all eyes are in Bamenda, and the religious authorities themselves. After now, the Pope goes and leaves. What should the Pope's visit also inspire some of you to make some bold statements and take some tough decisions regarding the lives of the people?
Thank you. As clergy in general, the first thing I want to emphasize on Mr. Leo's is human rights and dignity. Just like brother was saying, that if they do the display, the beauty of the airport, and there is no follow-up, then it is in vain. If the Pope emphasizes on that message of peace, of justice, of love, and then we do not follow up as clergy, it will be in vain. Even before Jesus left, he said, my peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. He gave it.
That is what Jesus left with us.
Yes. And he insisted that it's not like the world gives. Yes. And so we must also have this dual function. We don't just live, we give. Giving is impacting. Giving is making sure that there is a follow-up and there is a feedback. Because a lot can be said and done. If there is no follow-up, there is no feedback, then nothing will move. I want to also insist that it is high time that the clergy work with the government. Like in the Presbyterian Church, our new moderator is not new. He has been working for some time. The Right Reverend Mickey Hanzabia, his slogan is on strengthening and edifying. You cannot edify somebody to come back if there is no justice. You cannot strengthen somebody who is weak without offering that person the alternative of standing on the one's feet. If I see that brother is falling or something has happened to him, I cannot just come and, what are you doing here? I must look for a solution, for an alternative to put him back on his feet. That is where strengthening comes in, and putting him back on his feet is edifying him. And so it is our place as clergy not only to strengthen, but to edify. We must also work on conflict resolution. There is a process in conflict resolution. They call it the firewood. I will call it the firewood process of conflict resolution. But it's not fire, it's fuel or fagot. But we know it commonly as firewood. So let me put it in a way, in the barest minimum. How does it work? When you join the fire, the smoke goes up, the coal may not be red, but something is boiling. When you fan the fire, the embers become red and the firewood can catch. It is the same with us clergy and reverend pastors and, in fact, all clergymen and women. If you gather the flames will grow into zeal, zing, and zest to save God. But if you gather in a negative way, the fire may blow out of proportion. And sometimes when the fire is dead, you may think it is dead. If you don't join it, the flames will not come up. So we must put effort, not only in our sermons and homilies. We must visit. We must not only visit those who have the mighty, we must visit the lowly, the sick. We must pray for them. We must anoint them. This will continue the process. Because like I heard today, one mama said she touched the Pope and it's like she will never wash her hands. It's like all is well with her. That's faith, but it's a faith extender. The faith will continue to extend if the clergy of her parish or congregation can continue to tell her that it's not just about that act of the Pope touching or praying for you, but continue to live a righteous life, live a life of justice, not by just saying it in your sermon, but standing the gap when there is a marital conflict, where there is a situation that may need your engagement. Now, if the clergy can also work in synergy with the government, we will see that diplomatic engagement will not only come because the Pope has visited. Most of these clergy, they travel, they go for further studies. They can also act as the liaison men of the Pope by continuing to preach that message of peace through seminars and symposiums wherever they go. As they come back, they impact the population with such. Also, they are also promoters of socio-cultural aspects because they have not come from a vacuum. We have been born from families. I am a princess from Jinibi Meta, so I am from that village. I have traditions. I must be able to have that ability to see that which is obnoxious and is not in line with the precepts of God. I am sure that the Pope will also want to say something cultural and reach out to our traditional rulers because they are also propagators of peace. And so clergy must work in synergy with traditional rulers. We should not only go there to be decorated with feathers and atogos as clergy. We should also talk with them, pray for them, and see to it that the dilemmas that go on in their communities, we can help in intervening because they are one of the people who are highly respected in the society. Therefore, this will go a long way to also bring Anglophones and Francophones communities together. I bet you, like now in Peace in Dobo, where I am the associate pastor, there are many Francophones, and we read one of the lessons in French, that is unity, and it comes under the canopy of the church. I want to think that it works like that. I've seen many priests, when we have ecumenical services, who preach fluently. They preach their homilies fluently in English and in French. Language is also a building and unifying factor. We may look at it to be less, but it's very important. And if we can use the language of peace and unity as propagated by the Pope in our congregations, in our communities, in our societies, and then that impact will be there. The ceasefire itself is a strong socio-cultural aspect because, like Bar said, the ceasefire here is not in the sense that there was literally a gun that they are putting down, but these young men, they are yearning for the word of God. Like the psalmist says that he yearns for God just like a deer pants for water in the desert. They want to come and hear something that will also soften and moisten their hearts. Most of them did not become who they are because they loved. Some were pushed, some were pressured, and some because of the injustices around them. They would like to come and have somewhere that can melt them. Because they had is it the RDD? Please, how do they call that place where they say DDR? Say that is a rehabilitation. So please let me learn. You are not cutting the orders. Let me just learn. No,
you are the one who speaks. Yes, yeah. Go on.
Really?
Yes.
Yes. Let me just round up. Now, rehabilitation doesn't only come through psychological breakdown. Spiritually, they can be reinstated from the sermon, from the homily, from the speech of their father, the pontiff, to soften their hearts. So it is very impactful that clergy pick very important aspects from this visit, whether Catholics, Roman Catholics, or Protestants, and go back to their churches, manifest them on Christians, so that the Christians too will have that compassion and empathy to relate even to those who are under them as family members, friends, and loved ones. That's how it would trickle. Thank you, sir, for the time.
Okay. Thank you very much. We're going to be drawing the curtains on tonight's edition at this juncture. Tomorrow we are coming back. I'm sure by the time we come back here, the Pope must have delivered the so much expected, anticipated speech in Bamenda to know where this thing is heading, who is scoring 2-3 goals against who. Thank you for coming, Mr. Bacha.
Thank you, Mr. Leo. It was a privilege, and just to encourage the people of Norwest and Southwest that they should come out massively and receive the Pope in good faith and take the message of the Pope seriously, and also to plead to our brothers and sisters, those that have chosen the other side to face the government because of the injustices, that they too should take the message of the Pope to heart and be able to at least shift their position. And also for the government this time around, to also come down from the high horse. We know they have done a lot, but they should know that they must go by people base in order to make the society be convenient for all of us.
Okay, somebody says justice in Cameroon can only come when the government will realize what they did that was not correct, because they are claiming they don't know who to talk to, but they know who to arrest, and they know the homes of those. I don't know how sincere you are writing at this. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. I want to seize this opportunity to appeal that the people in Bonaberi some have been for 6 days without electricity, without water, and it is not good. Especially one is tempted to think whether all resources have been channeled to Japoma for these 6 days, and they are really crying. I want to also appeal to those who are watching us to understand that peace comes before justice. You can argue, but there's what we call reality and normative. Normative is what ought to be, but that's not what is. I want to wish these guys and gentlemen and ladies of the Bas Naval who are celebrating their 15 years in active service today, that they have sacrificed their life to protect us. A happy anniversary to them, especially to you, Mr. Anthony Izaga. Happy anniversary to you all who graduated from the Bas Naval in Douala, which is the 2nd Joint Military Region. As you put your lives on the line to protect us Cameroonians, we pray that God should continue to guide and protect you and your team.
Yeah, but one last question, because many persons are talking about justice. How do you judge people in the middle of the war for justice to be done? Yes,
Mr. Leo, it is very possible to judge people within the middle of the law
of the war,
because during the war we have people that have been arresting and incarcerating in prisons. We have people that have caused atrocities, physical atrocities that we know that they are actually perpetrating what we call human rights abuse. So in the cause, like on the side of the separatists, when they perpetrate this act and are taken, they're being punished. On the side of the government too, it should be the same.
Field Marshal in the BLM killed many persons. You are aware of that, right?
Yes, and he was being killed.
Yes. How do you ensure that justice is done for those families that lost so many persons? Can his life pay for the many persons who were killed? In that way now, the only thing that I was also going to add is that there are so many things that have happened along the line. Even myself, when I'm sitting here, my elder brother was neither a separatist or anybody, but he went down, which
I won't call the name of any person that was involved.
Now,
practically,
many persons have been kidnapped, millions taken from them. Who pays for all of that? We say we want justice, and until justice is done, there will never be peace. It means that we have to judge everybody who has done all these crimes before we have the peace.
No,
how do you judge?
Saying justice before peace is very impossible. There must be peace, because that will be the enabling environment, we can now start looking at who did what and so on and so on, so that we now start we look for ways. And during that time, there are people that maybe must have been healed, like myself.
Take the case of South Africa. I'm sure that they agreed to stop what they were doing before they came up with the Peace, Justice, and Reconciliation Commission. Right?
And that's the reason why we are so much talking about an inclusive dialogue.
In Rwanda, the tribunal was set up after the war. In Sierra Leone, a tribunal was set up after the war. I'm sure in
Nigeria, the tribunal was set up after the Nigerian Biafra Civil War.
That is when you start looking at who did what.
Yes. So yes, tribunal. Even when after the coup d'etat that occurred with Abacha, a tribunal was set up.
Let's assume that, I just want to give benefit of doubt that people say they want justice before there will be peace. Who is going to come and put this justice in Cameroon today? Who will judge who? Let's because it's like dreaming of something. Is it the United Nations that is going to come and judge the Cameroon government, or what?
Well, I think we are talking about justice. We know very well that even international Court of Justice is obviously going to probe into what happened during the time of the crisis in Cameroon, because we have seen all over the world where separatists have been incarcerated and being judged on the basis of inciting crimes in Cameroon. So the only thing I would like to say is that let us permit peace to reign. When we permit peace to reign, that is where we will start talking about justice and true forgiveness. To forgive and to forget is only when justice will happen, and justice will happen when we have that environment of peace that is already existing, and then now we set a court that will begin to handle all of the issues that have to do with whatever crime that happened within the time.
Okay.
When this young lady was raped to death, investigations must go on. After investigations, before there will be a trial, or the court prosecution,
this is what
happened, and
then
this is the person who did this, and then they can grant you a sentence.
Because the justice
it happens
system,
with Samuel Doe.
Yes, they have to go to court. They have to try and try before passing judgment.
So we cannot just be shouting peace or justice. There must be a level of calm. Investigations and other procedures must go on. After that, they start saying that you did this, you did not do this. If it is not done that way, in that orderly way, even international, is it the International Justice Organization? They go through that. Yes.
Court of Justice.
Court of Justice, sorry. Go through the procedure of investigation. Culprits are picked before they try them.
They are given lawyers. Even you who killed, they still give you a lawyer to come and defend you.
Exactly.
Yes, and
so it's a process.
One thing that you need to know is that when we are talking of justice, here mostly when people decry justice, they are talking of those common crimes that are very visible. That you know that we are sitting here, you and I, and then you did something, which means that we will not wait until when maybe there is a crisis, the crisis will end before we'll be able to know that you pick out something from this
but for the sentence to be given, if a thief,
social justice that needs to be exercised at the moment. Meanwhile,
means that you are promoting lynching.
Yeah, if a thief is caught out there, right, in the act of stealing, right, that thief is taken to the police station and then dragged to court. And he's taken to court over and over. The thief is given a lawyer. to defend him. He's not just
He's
sentenced.
also human.
I know.
Even though he did
So,
the crime.
Okay, let's.
So it's a process. We're talking about a state
regarding
of
the
law.
case of the crisis in the North and South. Look at Ngabo. Ngabo, you see that people are clamoring for justice for Ngabo, and the justice has been passed on. To
They were
some
sentenced
level,
to 10 years, right?
Yes.
But
Some
the
level
sentencing
now,
came. The sentencing came when? Last year.
Yes, it came.
Because the procedure took so the guys appeared in court for years before they were sentenced last year.
Yes. Why the crisis is still raging on somehow. Yes. So that is the kind of justice that they're asking for. But cases of gravity.
So those who kill Florence Ayafor, where do you pick them up for justice?
Those are cases of gravity. Those are cases, gross cases of human rights abuse. Those are cases that will not come now. Those are cases that will come later on.
Okay.
When there is.
Thank you, guys. Tomorrow is supposed to be a D-Day because all eyes and ears are going to be on Bamenda to get what the Pope is going to say. We don't know whether the bishops are going to say something. We also don't know whether civil society organizations are going to say something. Traditional rulers. Let's just listen and watch what comes out of Bamenda tomorrow. And at 7 o'clock, we gather here again to discuss and look at ways forward to achieve sustainable peace in Cameroon, in Northwest and Southwest in particular. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Eli and Teta, for production. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.